The music pulsed through the walls of my daughter's sprawling suburban home in upstate New York, a place that screamed success with its manicured lawn and glowing porch lights. Laughter bounced off the high ceilings, mingling with the sweet aroma of red velvet cake and expensive champagne. It was Emily's 45th birthday bash. And from the outside, it looked like the picture-perfect American dream, friends in designer clothes, kids darting around with glowing phones, and my daughter at the center, radiant in a sleek black dress that hugged her like a second skin. But I lingered by the mantel, nursing a glass of sparkling water that had gone flat, feeling the weight of something unspoken pressing down on my chest. Emily hadn't greeted me with her usual air kiss. Instead, she offered a fleeting glance, her eyes skimming past me like I was just another decoration. We used to be inseparable, back when life was simpler, before her high-powered marketing job and her husband's endless ambition turned our bond into something brittle and distant. Tonight, though, it felt like a chasm. My grandson, Jacob, 16 and lanky with that awkward teenage grace, kept pacing the edges of the room. His face was drawn, lips pressed tight, avoiding the trays of hors d'oeuvres. He caught my eye once, twice, then a third time, each glance laced with the urgency that twisted my gut. Jacob had always been the perceptive one, the kid who noticed when I was hurting even if I hid it behind a smile. When he finally brushed past me, I couldn't hold back. I touched his sleeve lightly. "You all right, kiddo? You look like you've seen a ghost." He froze, his eyes darting around the crowded living room like a hunted animal checking for predators. No one was paying attention, everyone too busy clinking glasses and snapping selfies. He leaned in close, his voice a hushed rasp that sent chills down my spine. "Gran, you gotta get out of here. Right now." My heart stuttered. I stared at him, searching his face for some sign of a joke. But there was none. Just raw, unfiltered fear. "What on earth are you talking about? It's your mom's big night." His grip tightened on my arm, pulling me deeper into the corner shadows. "Please, just trust me. Go home. Don't ask why, just go." The room spun a little. I set my glass down, my fingers numb. Jacob wasn't the dramatic type. He was the quiet observer, the one who fixed things without fanfare. If he was this scared, something was rotting beneath the surface of this glossy celebration. I nodded slowly, whispering, "Okay, sweetheart. I'm going." Relief flickered in his eyes, but it was tainted with a sadness that clawed at me. I slipped my coat from the hall closet, weaving through the oblivious guests like a ghost. No one noticed. Emily was in the kitchen, laughing with her husband Michael, his arms slung possessively around her waist. Sophia, Michael's sister, hovered nearby, pouring drinks with a smirk that didn't reach her eyes. As I turned the doorknob, I glanced back. Jacob stood on the stairs, watching me leave, his posture rigid like he was holding back a scream. The cool autumn air hit me like a bucket of ice water as I stepped onto the porch. My mind raced, piecing together fragments. Emily's distant calls lately, always rushed, always about something superficial. The way she dodged my offers to help with party prep, insisting she had it handled with caterers and decorators. I trudged to my old sedan parked down the block, each step heavier. My pearls, my late husband's last gift, feeling like a noose around my neck. Why would Jacob beg me to leave? What was he protecting me from? I slid into the driver's seat, but instead of starting the engine, I sat there, staring at the warm glow spilling from the windows. Something primal stirred in me, a mother's instinct, honed from years of silent sacrifices. I couldn't just drive away. Not yet. So I waited. Engine off. Hunkered low. Minutes ticked by. The party sounds muffled but persistent. Then, A dark SUV crept up the side street. Headlights dimmed, pulling into the alley behind the house where the fence hid it from view. My breath caught. 3 figures emerged, 2 burly men and a stern-faced woman, all in dark clothes. No party attire. They hauled something bulky, draped in black plastic, toward the back gate. Sophia appeared at the fence, gesturing them in with a nod, her face illuminated by the motion sensor light. No words exchanged, just efficient movements like this was rehearsed. My pulse thundered. I fumbled for my phone, snapping a shaky photo through the window. The flash betrayed me for a split second, but they didn't notice. I ducked lower, heart slamming against my ribs, creeping closer on foot, staying in the shadows of the neighbor's hedge. I positioned myself near the kitchen window. Voices filtered out, low and conspiratorial. Emily's first. She won't suspect a thing. Once it's wrapped up, we can finally breathe, sell the place, move on. Michael's chuckle followed, cold and calculated. The old bat's too trusting. By the time she figures it out, it'll be too late. She's outlived her usefulness. Laughter erupted, sharp and mocking, from Sophia too. I pressed a hand to my mouth to stifle a gasp. They were talking about me. Me, the woman who'd scraped by on a teacher's pension to put Emily through college, who'd babysat Jacob through endless nights so she could climb her corporate ladder. Betrayal burned through me like acid, silent and searing. I backed away, legs wobbling, and slipped into my car, driving home through the quiet streets, the suburbs blurring past. I felt the first cracks in my heart widen into fissures. But beneath the pain, a spark ignited, not rage yet, but a quiet resolve. They thought I was weak, invisible. They were wrong. The next morning dawned gray and unforgiving, matching the ache in my chest. I sat at my kitchen table in my modest ranch house, the one my husband had built with his own hands before cancer stole him too soon, staring at untouched coffee. Sleep had evaded me, replaced by endless replays. Jacob's plea, the SUV, those damning words. My daughter, my flesh and blood, plotting to discard me like yesterday's news. For what? Money? Freedom from the burden of an aging mother? The silence in my home amplified the hurt. A lifetime of unspoken grievances bubbling up. I'd always swallowed my pride, bitten my tongue during Emily's teenage rebellions, her hasty marriage to Michael, the hotshot real estate developer. I'd even signed over power of attorney years ago, thinking it was for emergencies, not this knife in the back. A soft knock shattered the quiet. Peering through the curtain, I saw Jacob, hood up, glancing over his shoulder. I yanked him inside, bolting the door. He looked haunted, dark circles under his eyes. Gran, I had to come. Are you okay? I hugged him fiercely, feeling his thin frame tremble. I'm here because of you. Now tell me everything. We sat, and the words tumbled out like a dam breaking. 2 nights before the party, he'd overheard them in Michael's home office. Emily, Michael, Sophia, hunched over stacks of papers. They had your name everywhere, he whispered. Deeds, forms, even medical evaluations claiming you're unfit. Mom said it was time to handle you, that the buyer for your house was impatient. Sophia laughed about forging your signature. She's got connections from her shady paralegal gigs. My stomach churned. The house, our family legacy, the place where I'd raised Emily, where memories of her father lingered in every creak of the floorboards. They'd twisted the documents to strip my control, planning to shuttle me to some out-of-state nursing home, pocket the sale proceeds for their lavish life. They think you're too fragile to fight, Jacob said, voice cracking. But I couldn't let them. That's why I warned you. Tears stung my eyes. but I wiped them away. The betrayal cut deep. A psychological wound festering from years of Emily's growing indifference. Her resentment masked as independence. I'd given her everything, only to be repaid with this calculated erasure. Jacob showed me photos he'd snuck on his phone, the guest room walls plastered with timelines. Fake IDs. Circled bank statements. Evidence. My hands steadied. We end this, I said. Together. Purpose replaced the numbness over the next few days. I wasn't the passive widow they'd painted me as. I contacted my old friend, attorney Robert Klein, a sharp-minded estate lawyer who'd handled my husband's will. Margaret. This sounds like elder exploitation, he said over the phone. His voice grave. We'll hit them hard and fast. We pored over originals, spotting the forgeries, mismatched dates. Sophia's sloppy loops in my supposed signature. Jacob's recording sealed it, Michael's voice boasting. She'll be in that facility before she knows what hit her. And we'll flip the house for double. Rage simmered. But I channeled it into action. The psychological toll manifesting in sleepless nights and a constant knot in my throat. The silence I'd endured, Emily's unanswered calls. Her dismissal of my loneliness fueled me. I filed for an injunction to freeze the property. Plus charges, fraud, forgery, conspiracy against a vulnerable adult. New York law was on my side, elder abuse carried real teeth. I didn't breathe a word to Emily. Let her stew in her false security. The confrontation came at a family dinner I suggested, my voice sweet as poison over the phone. Just us. To reconnect. Emily agreed eagerly, perhaps sensing vulnerability. I arrived with Robert in tow, Jacob trailing behind, his jaw set. The house smelled of takeout Italian, Michael's lazy attempt at hospitality. Sophia lounged on the couch, scrolling her phone. Emily air-kissed me. Mom, so glad you're here. We've missed you. The lie hung heavy. We sat at the dining table, tension thickening like fog. Midway through appetizers, I nodded to Robert. He slid a folder across the polished wood. This is an emergency court order, he announced. Voice steady. All assets tied to Margaret's property are frozen. Any sale attempts are now felonies. Emily's fork clattered. What the hell is this? Robert continued. Unflinching. Evidence of document tampering, false filings, and intent to defraud. Sophia, your prints are all over the forgeries. Michael surged to his feet. You can't prove shit. Jacob hit play on his phone, their voices damning and clear. The old lady won't fight back. Silence crashed down. Sophia paled, bolting upright. Emily's face crumpled. But not with remorse, with shock at being caught. Mom, this is a misunderstanding. I stood, my voice low but thunderous. I heard you that night. Saw the van. The plans. You were going to ship me away. Sell my home. Erase me for your greed. Tears streamed down her face. But I felt no pity, only the raw ache of a mother's shattered trust. I raised you better than this betrayal. The door burst open, detectives, warrants in hand. Sophia Grant. You're under arrest for fraud and identity theft. She screamed denials as they cuffed her. Michael slumped, muttering about lawyers. Emily sobbed. How could you do this to us? I met her gaze, the pain of her choices etching lines in my soul. No, Emily. How could you do this to me? The price of your silence. Your ambition, it's cost you everything. I took Jacob's hand, leading him out into the night. The bungalows blurred past as we drove away. The weight of revenge bittersweet. I'd reclaimed my life, but the scars of betrayal lingered. A silent reminder that family bonds, once broken, demand a heavy toll. In the end, The explosion of truth left us all forever changed.